Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian and welcome back to Hearthstone 4 as we're playing as Japan. So we're going to be starting this war with China in just 23 days as soon as we finish up this focus. Before we can let the game play though, we are going to go ahead and spend our political power to get this infantry expert, increasing the attack and defense for our infantry. We have a lot of infantry units, so it makes sense to go and get that. So you notice that I did make a lot of adjustments with our troops. So the army here is going to be covering all this region, and I added all the divisions that we had in this area. So they'll be heading over there. Now, this is really just going to be a defensive-based army where our main attack is going to be here, as well as from our naval invasions. I also got a separate tank army, or tank and motorized units. Unfortunately, we won't be able to get these guys trained up fully. We'll let them train for a little bit longer. But they're not going to be able to get their full experience before we start the war. Also went ahead and already set up our fleet. We'll talk about that once the war starts. And our planes will be moving over here soon because I got an air base being constructed. So we just got the interwar artillery. So that's going to give us some nice soft attack bonuses. And since we're in 1938, let's go and get the computing machines. Really hurting just having the 3 research slots. We did get, I think, our first trait for the artillery manufacturer, the Osaka Army Arsenal, which means we're going to want to get that increased production output. We also just got the improved machine tools, so let's get the construction 2 next. Currently still working on that airbase, which we done on the 15th of January. So as soon as we get that, we're going to want to move our Air Force on over here. So we'll just send the entire thing. Let's go and pause that. I actually didn't want to have that playing the whole time because we needed to tell these guys to stop training so that they can get their organization back up, so that as soon as the war starts, which I believe it's through that event, the Marco Polo Bridge incident, which I'm not sure how long it takes for that to fire. Basically, as soon as we go to war, we're going to want to start pushing the front forward. So with this focus finished up, we're going to return to the political branch. Once we're in the war, we'll get the dockyard output and factory output, since this does require that we be at war. But first, we're going to get the form the Central Economic Council. That's going to give us civilian factory, also get us back some of our civilian factories and increase our construction speed. And then we'll get the research slots. Another nice effect of this is that it adds an aerodynamics and avionics facility. So that'll be helpful to have. So this is going to take 35 days to get that focus finished up. So the war should be starting very soon. I'd imagine it's only going to be like a few days. There we go. So this is going to start the war with all of the Chinese states. So basically it would result in them joining the Chinese United Front. But because this is not EU5, we can keep it playing a little bit longer here before we actually press that, in order to give our tanks time to get their organization back up. Also lets us get our entrenchment up for all the units along this front, because yeah, we do have what, like 11 more days before we have to click that, so a little bit gamey here, but that's okay. We can select a project for the naval engineering facility. We'll go for the, we're gonna go for the Yamato class battleships, so let's go and get that started. Yeah, just give our troops a bit more time before we activate this event. Like I said, just let them get further entrenched and get their organization and their planning bonuses up as well. Since when they're training, I don't think they were getting the planning bonus. We can get another operative as well. So this is our second operative. And it makes sense to get this Yoshiko character because she has the Chinese nationality. So let's go ahead and have her cover the region where we'll be doing the naval invasion. And we also finally have 100 air experience. So this lets us get our grand doctrine selected, and we're going to do the operational integrity, since we do have a character here with grant mastery. If we end up getting him as our theorist, I'm not entirely sure who we'll get there just yet, because I don't believe we've hired our theorist. Actually, we did. Okay, so we got the base strike one. Yeah, I guess we did that in the last episode. I'd forgotten about it. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this war started. Unfortunately, we do get a penalty here because it's a surprise invasion. Yeah, that's a ton of penalties. Alright, so yeah, that's unfortunate. I guess that's to slow down the Japanese, maybe make it a little bit more difficult, particularly when you go with this route. And we do have some decisions available that we got from that one focus. Luxury is the enemy. This results in us getting some of our civilian factories back. Well, we could also do the produce bullet stamps, which gives us 2 military factories. Both of these cost 75 political power, so we'll only be able to do 1 right now. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that one. So that got us the 2 factories immediately, but I've already set them up to where we wanted them assigned. So this is our main task force, the one that we'll have doing the strike force mission. Now, it's obviously going to be overkill putting all these ships out here because I think China only has like, I don't know, maybe 10, 11 ships total. But we do want to get those ships sunk, and then we also have to get the naval dominance, which is the mechanic that has replaced the naval supremacy. So it's a little bit different, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But here for our main task force, we have 3 carriers. So all of these can field the 60 planes, including the 2 converted battleships. That's why they're in our main task force. Now, this one here could only field 40, and so I have them refitting. So we're changing them up. And it's unfortunate that we have to use the dockyards for that, but I think it would be worth it over time so that they can carry a few more planes. They'll be changing over to the Soryu class. We also have another carrier that might already be done and training up. If it's not finished yet, then it will be very soon, the 21st of February. So when that one's done, we'll be adding it. Well, perhaps we'll let them train up since they're not going to be getting much experience fighting the Chinese. So basically, we're going to have 4 carriers total, 6 battleships, and 2 battlecruisers for a total of 12 capital ships. And thus we'll need 36 screens. And you might have noticed that we have 3, or actually we have 4 that are currently training. So we'll just take 3, maybe we'll take all of them actually, and then throw them into this fleet. With that 1 carrier. So this task force has all of our most modern ships, although some of these can be upgraded. I just don't think that it's worth refitting anything but capital ships, and even then it often doesn't feel worth it. It just takes far too long. Not quite as long as building an entirely new ship, but close to it. So it just doesn't feel worth it most of the time. This is our second task force. It just has the 2 carriers that field the 40 planes. We also have the 2 battle cruisers and 6 heavy cruisers, and then the 32 screens. Probably won't be using this fleet in the war. Honestly, don't really need any of these larger fleets. These are our patrol fleets, so with the light cruisers and the destroyers, so they'll be doing the patrol missions. And I guess we can go and get them out there now. We're not going to have all of these guys doing patrol for the entire war, just for the initial part of it, so that we can get the naval dominance up as quickly as possible, because we'll need that for the naval invasions. So we'll set them to patrol. This fleet here will be doing the strike force, and then these 2 fleets would just have the heavy cruisers in them. So they're going to be doing the naval invasion support. So they'll move over there and help with those naval invasions. And then we have a little mining fleet here. Not really important to do the mine lane in this region, since you get the penalty. I think in all of these sea regions, this is 75%. This one here is a 50% penalty. So you're highly unlikely to hit the mines in this area. Of course, they might still help with the dominance. I assume that they would, because they helped with naval supremacy in the previous version of this mechanic. Let's go and get our planes out there. You know, we have them in the base already, but we just need to send them up to do the air superiority and the close air support. You know, we'll also do the more ground crews to get the 10% efficiency boost. All right, so I think we're good to go now. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and get around this unit here. We'll attack in the cities with all of these guys. We'll attack Beijing as well. Don't need all of these troops going on this attack. We don't need that many, honestly. We cannot yet send the invasions. While we have finished the planning, naval dominance is not high enough, because that's one of the main differences between dominance and the old naval supremacy, is that it doesn't happen immediately. Instead, you have to slowly build it up. So that stops you from just sending out your fleet to quickly get the naval supremacy and then send your invasions and then put them back in ports as soon as invasions are done, you know, to protect your ships. You can't do that anymore, since you have to slowly build up the naval dominance. So it takes a bit of time. And so while the ships are out there, we'll just be fighting this war until we're able to get the naval dominance up high enough and do that invasion. So we're going to try and get around these guys here. Let's go across the river in this location. We will attack here, though, because I'd like to get that air base taken. So support these guys. And yeah, let's just send most of these troops over here so that we can advance quickly, take as much territory as we possibly can before the Chinese react and send a bunch of troops over here. But we actually want them to send a lot of troops over here. That way they don't have troops over in this area when we do our naval invasions. So we did sink a light cruiser, excellent. So our first victory in the seas. And we were actually losing all across this front. That's because all these units are really crappy. Yeah, none of them are very good at all. I'm hesitant to actually pull these guys off of this because I think it's just a matter of time before they end up joining this conflict. So I feel like we should probably keep units up along here because they're now in the Chinese United Front. So yeah, they're gonna get pulled in eventually. So yeah, let's keep them over there until they pull them in. Yeah, they're slowly getting all the other countries pulled in. So now that we've taken Beijing, let's get all these tanks over here and just keep the Green Army in the southern part of the front. And then these red units, the infantry, will attack across the river while those units are weak. And unfortunately, my mouse just went dead. I was feeling kind of sluggish. So yeah, I'm using another mouse. I don't like using this one because it's, for recording purposes, because it's a lot louder. Obviously you can hear the clicking. The other mouse I have is designed for, being quiet. And so it's far better for these recordings. So is that them over there? Yeah, that's them. Okay, so I'm glad that I kept these units. I mean, there's only 2 of them here. But yeah, this open province will just be taken, unfortunately. And we're probably going to lose in all these locations. So I think we should probably just go ahead and retreat all these units here. Again, this part of the front doesn't really matter all that much. I don't really care if we lose there. As long as we win here, and then of course our naval invasions, we want those to be successful as well. Not quite high enough yet for the naval dominance. So we'll let this one unit get over here, and then we'll attack this location. And we'll also attack here, with the idea that we'll cut off the 2 units that will be there. And let's go and advance towards their capital now as well. And let's go and take that location and bring this guy over here. We do have this one unit cut off, so it's going to get him destroyed. Make sure that these Green Army units move. So I'll work on getting that unit wiped out. And we'll support with this guy and make sure this guy stays along this front. Alright, so with the motorized troops, let's go and have them... We'll try and wrap up around this unit here. They've taken that location, and looks like they brought in another unit over here, so let's go and attack here now. And we'll see if we can't get another unit to assist him. Though this tank can also help once he gets over here. So let's have him help out in there so that we can get these guys cut off, though they're trying to leave, so we can't stop that. Working hard to get them cut off. I was going to take that location, move over here, and let's go ahead and get this one unit here cut off from supply. So he'll go here and then attack here, while the fast motorized unit is going to move all the way down to here, take over this territory, cut off any troops that might be in the area. The Green Army, with our tank stuff, don't need to cover all this. Frankly, the front is getting rather large, and we don't have a lot of units. And looks like these guys are very close to getting completely wiped out here. So let's go ahead and try retreating that way. So yeah, we're quickly losing territory over here. Doesn't really surprise me. We could send some additional units. I don't know if there's anybody out there. We got all these guys covering ports unnecessarily. That whole front is going to get a lot easier once we're able to do this invasion, though. Look at this, guys. They're actually protecting their coastline. You don't generally see them do that. The carrier's done, by the way. So we're going to let them train up. Yeah, they almost never cover the coastline. They usually just let you do the invasion. So I'm hesitant to actually send it because there's so many troops here. I'm wondering if we can't just continue advancing up along here for right now and wait and see what happens. So this guy is going to go ahead and grab that victory point, and let's go and send another unit here. And anybody who's on this front can be moved. We want the tanks pushing forward. Let's go ahead and get this unit here cut off. So those have been wiped out. Excellent. Some nice little victory for us there. And we did just form the Central Economic Council, so that's another civilian factory and some bonuses there. So let's go after that next research slot. It looks like there is somebody here to resist us. Okay, let's go this way then. And this guy can go and close this in, and we'll have the motorized unit continue advancing over here. Let's go ahead and push forward. Let me see. 1 day and 14 hours. Well, while he goes and cuts the cav unit off, we'll go and attack there. Okay, it looks like the situation has changed here. China just absorbed one of these countries. After we took their capital, they just capitulated, so got us all this territory, which did cut off this unit here. So let's get them wiped out. And any units that are over here, let's just have them go that way. So it won't take us but a minute to get those guys destroyed. And that'll allow these units to come over here and cover this front for us. And then these guys, let's just have them stop what they're doing. Come over here and start moving towards Shanxi, which is currently undefended. Still about to get this here in 8 hours, which will cut off that unit. And then these guys are just going to advance all through here and take this territory over for us. Looks like we can get a third operative. Kimiko here, seducer, tough, linguist. She's pretty solid. This is another solid character, so you know what, we'll go for him. And then let's make sure we're moving these as the front moves. So let's go here, I guess over here. So it looks like many of these units are now pulling up to the front. Exactly what I wanted to see. I knew that they had to have done something different than they usually do, because like look at this wide open space here. They instead sent all the divisions to defend against the naval invasions, something I don't know that I've ever seen China do before. That's just not what they do. They usually just let you do the invasions, and then it's wide open. You can kind of grab a swath of territory before they finally defend it. But instead, they left this front open, as strange as that is. So yeah, never seen them do that before. Let's go over here, see if we can't beat that guy. He's going to get there in 1 day. We'll get there in 22 hours, so they'll have to actually fight us for it. So they sent all the troops over to this one location here. And thus I'm hoping that these are not going to be as well defended. So let's go ahead and send the Marines now. Actually, it looks like we no longer have the naval dominance in all of those regions. Okay, so they must have sent out some ships, I suppose. I'm not entirely sure how they're even challenging us with the number of ships we have. And like I said, they don't have many of their own. Yeah, maybe like 9 or 10 of them after that light cruiser that we sunk. So I'm not entirely sure how they're even stopping us. So we did take the capital of Shanxi, but it's not quite enough to get them to capitulate. They're at 70% currently. So we're going to have to attack here to stop these guys from advancing. Yeah, bring another unit over here. Take this victory point, that'll help, but basically we need to take over a few of these provinces here before we can force their capitulation. But kind of stymied up on the front. I mean, over here we're making some progress. Hoping to get these guys cut off. We just need to get a win right here. And let's go and get something else selected here. We'll do a few more things before we kind of abandon it. There's like a couple more things that we'll get here, but we really need to focus on construction. Still haven't done these invasion jets. Let me see if we can launch them. We can. I don't know how successful those are going to be though. But we'll try them out, see what happens. At the very least, I don't know, we might be able to make some progress there. But if we don't, you know, get these invasions successful soon, then I mean this army will get down there. So it looks like this invasion will be successful unless they move some additional units over there. We also got a prototype decision. This is for that Yamato class battleship. So the matter of priorities attack. Designing a new class of battleships allows us the opportunity to focus our efforts on improving our ability to dominate naval battlefields. What should we prioritize? So we can either select heavy guns. This will increase the stats for the heavy batteries, so increasing their hit chance, their attack, and their piercing. Instead, we could prioritize speed. So that gives us the increased speed and surface detection, and also reduces the surface visibility. Or you can go for the light guns, and that gives you the bonuses for the light batteries. While I generally do use my battleships primarily for their light attack, you know, destroy all the escorts, it kind of feels weird doing that with a super heavy battleship. You got this huge ship, and I feel like it should do really good damage against other heavy ships. So we're gonna do the heavy guns. So it's gonna be like an anti-battleship. So yeah, we're winning this invasion here, and the other one hasn't yet landed. Looks like we should be successful there as well. All right, excellent. And Austria was just annexed. So they're pushing behind us. That's not good. So yeah, they're taking all this territory. Easily could cut us off here. So we need to deal with that. Let's go and send our tanks over this way, and we'll attack across the river to stop that unit. And then we'll start bringing some units up around here. All right, so our invasion is successful. So let's go and attack with all these guys. See if we can't now push the front forward. Let's go over here. But as I was saying, this is the first time I've seen China actually defend their coastline, so I'm a little impressed, honestly. We could send some additional troops over here, but we might need them in this location. Yeah, I think we should send them over there, because we have these additional divisions sitting over here. Yeah, I want to make sure that we have enough to move towards their capital. So we did wipe out that one motorized unit that was pushing over this way. And we've got these guys cut off, so hoping to get them destroyed. Let's just support this, actually. And then let's go and advance over here as well. And we see if I can't push over onto this location. Or we got another unit over here pushing into our territory, so we're going to have to grab the location behind them. And our second naval invasion is now successful. We're going to let that cav unit get over here. Yeah, I think that would be wise. And let's just send these guys up over this way. Or maybe leave one more here, so we can attack that location. And then let's send them some additional divisions. So we got one right here, and then we have the two over here. And we'll just kind of split these up. Have one go over here, while the other one will go over to this location. Also give them planning bonuses, so when they're like sitting still, not attacking, they're at least doing something, building up their planning. So we got another unit cut off that tried to, you know, push towards the coast, and so we're getting them wiped out. It's definitely slow going over here, though. Having some difficulty. Let's stop this attack since somebody moved there. It was an empty location. But over here, we should be making some progress. I mean, it's kind of a difficult fight here. There's a lot of units. I did expect this to be an issue with just the sheer number of troops they had up on the coast, that we're not going to be able to advance as much as we usually do. Let's go and send these guys on an attack here, and now they're attempting to leave. Well, I don't want them to leave. I was hoping to come over here and grab this province and cut them off. So we do have a number of divisions cut off. We got one over here, and then we got another 3 right here. So we're going to try and get these guys destroyed. And let's see if I can advance over here. And we can stop that attack. That was just to get those guys locked down. That's 2 divisions destroyed, just 1 still remaining. That guy's dead as well. Very excellent. Let's see if we can't advance into this location. I think these are all like wetlands or something, just based on the way they look. So it might be a little bit more difficult for us to have some progress there. And I know this guy was about to leave, but he's really weak. So it's going to take that over. Still holding on to the capital here, just barely. I'm not sure why I was attacking here. I guess we'll keep it going though, since we're winning. So now that we launched those invasions, let's try and save some of our fuel here by pulling back on the patrols. In fact, we'll probably pull back on 2 of those, just have the 1 patrol fleet out there, and then these guys can all like train or whatever. Yeah, we'll take the whole thing and just put them into this here training fleet. Because yeah, we're not worried about them, you know, getting sunk or anything by the enemy. Having a lot of difficulty for our naval invasions, guys. These have struggled. We're just barely holding on here, honestly. I mean, it's keeping divisions distracted, so I mean, it's not completely useless. But yeah, definitely having some issues with the naval invasions. Looks like we should be able to win here on this defense, and then we'll want the Marines to attack across the river. We might be able to win there, and we need to get a victory here to cut off those 4 divisions. It's a lot of defenses we got to fight, but it looks like these guys are doing a little bit better than this front, where they have been completely stymied. Let's go ahead and assist here so we can push forward on that location. And frankly, we do not have enough troops to cover this entire front. We need to reduce the Red Army's commitment to a degree. And also, I don't know why the Green Army's set to cover all this. So we actually have some spare dockyards. So we finally got all those ships that we started with. We got them constructed. And so now we can design some of our own ships, though we'll probably just take some of the designs that are currently there and then just make adjustments to them until we get the 1939 ships. In which case we'll design our own ones and we'll name them based on your guys' suggestions. I believe 2 people have already given me some name suggestions. We are going to want to change all of our secondaries to the dual purpose second batteries. So what's nice about Japan is they actually start with access to those. Make sure we have that battleship armor on there. Obviously we didn't have that level on there. Here we'll keep the anti-air on there, despite the fact that its AA damage is not much higher than the AA damage of the dual purpose, and you don't get any of the light attack bonuses. The production is lower, and frankly we can't put dual purpose here, and we already have the heavy battery here, and I don't know why you'd put 3 heavy batteries on your battleship. It'd make the production cost really high and the speed really slow. But yeah, we'll go and change up this to the dual purpose. In fact, we'll probably change both of these. But we are going to change one of these, I guess this one here, over to the secondary battery too, since it does have the slightly higher light attack and it also has the higher piercing, so I think that would be wise to go ahead and at least change one of these up, and then just have the 2 dual purpose guns. So the light attack will be 10, anti-air will be 9. This is pretty solid, but we do need to change up our MIO, because it's currently using the raiding shipbuilders, which just decreases the surface visibility, when our battle line shipbuilders would increase the anti-air and the light attack. So now it'll be 10.5 and 9.4. So I think it's pretty good. We'll just have the historical battleship names there. Let's go and save that, and then go ahead and start building probably just one of these and put the 5 dockyards into it. And we still have some available dockyards, so let's go ahead and get a new carrier designed. For example, we could be increasing the hangar space here, so we'll do that. And anti-air is good. Here we'll get the secondary battery, so you know they can somewhat defend themselves, and we'll also put the armor on there as well. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and save it, and then we'll build one of these with the task force shipbuilders. And then I would like to design a new light cruiser, but we don't really have enough naval experience. But we do have those spare dockyards, and we got these repair and support ships, so let's get some of those constructed. So we'll do, I don't know how many of these you actually need. Let's just do like a couple of them for right now, because I haven't even got to use these, so I'm not entirely sure how effective they are. Speaking of ships, one thing I didn't realize is that I have an admiral here for our submarines, but I never took Yamamoto out of here. I'd planned on doing that, and I just never did. I was just going to assign Ozawa over here, which we eventually need to get his traits done. We're not going to do that right now. And then I was going to put Yamamoto over here, but I never did that. So luckily this is just China that we're fighting and not the United States, because that would have been kind of a bit of a disaster. So we're doing these 2 failing attacks here just to lock those troops down while I try and win here, but I don't think we'll be able to hold on. Unfortunately they might, yeah, be able to leave there. Maybe if we get our organization up before they move and then do the attack again. We got a few hours. Yeah, let me try and do an attack again. Just trying to lock them down, but you're having difficulty actually winning there. Alright, excellent. So we were able to cut off those 4 divisions. So let's go ahead and send this division over here. Make sure they're not able to break out. We just got the passive defense agency upgrade, and that's probably all we're going to do for now. We really need to keep our factories focused on building. But you'll see here that we did get a mastery reward. So this is the experience that our troops have gained from fighting. So if we take a look at the infantry here, you'll see that we got the first level because we got the 100 mastery. It's unfortunate that this is the only one that we're able to get, so we haven't gotten any of the other sub-doctrines unlocked just yet. We could be getting mastery on those. And we did get a trait for the support equipment manufacturer. Probably going to want to get, we're going to want to get this one here for the funds gain, so we'll get the traits a little bit faster for them. So with this national focus completed, we finally have our 4th research slot. Also got that new experimental location. And while we do want to get this one here, let's get this one first. Increase that dockyard and factory output. And let's get this 4th research slot. Researching the defense and breakthrough bonus. Really surprised we don't have that yet. So this is going to take us 88 days. So we were able to get these units cut off, and we almost have them completely destroyed. That's really the only success that this naval invasion has had thus far. We did get a trait for the task force shipbuilders. We're going to get that production output, so that's going to be affecting the carriers. Also, I feel like these troops here have trained up enough. We need to get them assigned to the different fronts. because, you know, we're obviously having some difficulties. We're just far too outnumbered. So to show you guys the situation across the front, still stagnant over here. Not really much happening with those naval invasions. Here trying to get these guys cut off, but having some difficulty with that. In fact, we might end up losing here, so we should probably attack there to assist them. Just barely holding on to this location, but if these units here can get the victory, then I would just cut all of them off because they do not have a port across this coastline. Also attempting to attack right here, maybe get these units cut off, should get a victory right there. And we got a bunch of units over here that are also cut off. They tried pushing through here and they made some progress, but now all those units are going to die. So it's 2 divisions here, and then here we got 9 divisions, so quite a few, though we're not actually winning that battle at the moment. So let's send this guy there and then have him come right back, just so they can't reconnect it. So we got a few things we need to do. So first of all, we can go ahead and select our next sub-doctrine. While I know we're currently getting more mastery for the artillery and combat support, I think we're going to go with the operations because the benefit that we're going to get here would be a little bit more immediately useful. So this is going to increase our reinforce rate, also going to give us the tactic breakthrough, and we're going to get a soft attack bonus for all of our infantry and line artillery. So 10% bonus there. So yeah, that will be really helpful. And we'll see our mastery start to boost us here, and that'll increase reinforce rate, reconnaissance, and assault attack. We also have enough little power to do the luxury as the enemy decision, so that will be useful for our civilian factories. So we'll be able to get more stuff constructed. So 2 more units cut off here. Let's go and attack with the tank and support with the infantry. And we're also going to support here with that motorized unit. See if we can't get the win here. Cut off all of these units. You can see they're trying to leave there. That's going to create a problem. So let's go and attack them to stop that. Though they might just end up retreating. No, it looks like they'll retreat over to here. Alright, so I think we will get the victory here. Maybe. They're moving units. There we go. Alright, excellent. So that means we can wipe out all these troops if we can hold on to this territory, which is kind of an if, because you can see they're trying to break through here. So let's attack here first. And let's bring this tank unit. We're going to want both these tank units over here. Let's bring them over here to try and get these troops wiped out. We'll attack here as well, just to kind of help out with that. Same thing with this attack here. Yeah, just go ahead and keep all these units here. Just make sure they're not able to reconnect this, because this is kind of a big victory for us. And, you know, make sure all of these troops stay here. We don't want any of these guys leaving because we're actually about to lose right there. So let's send this guy over here. This is what we'll do. We'll send this guy here and attack with that guy just to make sure we don't lose that. I'll try again to win here. Have not had success thus far. We just got our focus completed. So the state general mobilization law. So that's going to increase the dockyard and factory output. Now we're going to want to get this one here. In order to get the increased factory output, you can also build civilian factory in the dockyards quicker. It does have a penalty to political power, but then also this is the one we need in order to get these here, and you do want to get one of those so that you can get the 5th research slot. So let's go ahead and finally work on this. It took me way too long to get those research slots. We got an event about a Soviet defector, so we can say this smells of opportunity. And that's a decryption chance against the Soviets increased by 50%. And we'll also get intel against the Soviet Union. However, the Soviets aren't really our enemy. And so I think we should probably go with this option. We cannot trust this foreigner to be truthful. In order to get the political power, also improves opinion with the Soviets. We got all these units cut off. Now we just gotta figure out how to get them destroyed without letting them get reconnected here. Let's attack right there. And then we can support with these units here. And also try attacking this location since they've been attacking us there, so they might be a bit weaker. Still trying to take over this province, and we've got all these units that are cut off, but we have not been able to get them destroyed just yet. Let's keep this guy here so he can attack over that way. And we're going to send this unit on the attack as well. Maybe support with this guy here. It looks like that's good enough to actually get the win there. Having some supply issues with some of these troops, so we're still stymied up here in the north, you know, where we took Shaanxi, and then after that we really haven't made any progress, unfortunately. This attack also looks like it's a failure, so let's just go ahead and stop that. Maybe we'll attack here? Probably not. I mean, I guess that at least stopped their attack. Mongols were giving us a bit of Lend-Lease there. This location's open, so you know what, let's go ahead and lock those units down, and we'll just attack with this one motorized unit. Throughout this territory, we have been making some mild progress. Let's go and attack here. You know, just pushing forward very slowly, as we have all these units here devoted towards this attack to try and get these units wiped out. I think like 16 total divisions, so that is going to be a significant win. Still can't really make any progress here or over here, unfortunately. I think we grabbed this one province, and that is it. We do have another prototype decision to make. So this is matter of priorities defense. Our top naval commanders gave us an impossible task to make this ship nigh invincible. And while we know it to be impossible, we can at least try to make it so. This time, what should our priority be? So we can do reinforced armor and hull. So that's going to focus on the armor and the HP. Instead, you could do the AA artillery, or you could do the anti-torpedo measures. I think we'll do the reinforced armor and hull. That helps against everything. The anti-air would be useful, but I often don't build battleships designed around AA, and I'm particularly not going to do that for a super heavy battleship. This would be good too, though. But let's go with the reinforced armor and hull. So all these troops are now destroyed. So what is that, like 16 divisions? Unfortunately, 2 of our own units just got cut off here, so I'm trying to get those relieved. But we did just finish up this focus. So that's going to give us some nice bonuses, though we do get hit with the penalty to the political power. And now we're going to want to approach one of these companies. I'm probably going to want to get all of these focuses eventually, because it's not just making the industrial concern available, which obviously you can only have one of those, so there'd be no reason to have this many options. But they all grant you civilian factories, and they give you research bonuses, and they give you some type of modifier. So this one, you need less consumer good factories. This one here, more resources. This is dockyard output, and this one's factory output. We're gonna go with Mitsubishi for the first one, and then we'll go for the 5th research slot. Because again, it's taking us far too long to get access to that. Let's go and attack these 2 locations. Trying to get a win here so we can relieve these troops here. We're also about to take Nanjing, so that's their current capital, and one of the locations we need to take for that medium-term objective, control the Chinese capitals. For our short-term goal, we only need 2 more techs researched, and then we'll have that completed. Lawless troops here, we might actually be able to get a win this time. Yeah, I think we might finally be able to get it. That's only if we can lock down these troops here and stop them from moving over to this province. We've been trying to take this province forever because it's a mountain province, so not exactly the easiest location to attack. They're pulling units off of the front, opening things up. We're going to try and take that port. We've also reconnected these units here, so that's good news. And we have taken Nanjing and cut off all these troops. Alright, excellent news. Let's go and attack here to get that unit wiped out. This is a lot of divisions that we just cut off. Yeah, this is 5 divisions. Alright, let's go and get them completely destroyed then. So we're killing a ton of Chinese troops. I can only do this for so long before they eventually run out of equipment. And you notice I say equipment and not divisions because they have plenty of manpower. You know, it's China. China never runs out of manpower. However, we are taking all their industrial regions, all of their factories over. So eventually they won't have enough equipment to support their current troops, as well as enough to build new units. So we'll get that taken care of, and we should be able to start pushing the front forward now up along here. We finally took this location over. Let's go and stop that guy from attacking. And we'll also attempt, that's what we'll do. We'll have one of these guys go this way, and then these 2 go over here. So we'll try and take over that location. These mountain provinces are kind of rough. This isn't the best location to have done this invasion, honestly. I probably should have selected a different location, but I kind of expected to not face any resistance when I set this up. But we probably should have attacked down here, honestly. And we did just decrypt China's cipher. So if we wanted to keep that in order to get these passive bonuses here, or we could make use of it in order to get the increased breakthrough, increased defense, invasion penalty be reduced as well if we wanted to do a naval invasion. And that's what I've been kind of considering doing. What we could do is move our tanks out of this area and have them come up here to maybe force their capitulation, because they got to be pretty close to capitulating. Just a couple provinces hopefully should be enough. And then that would allow us to also invade into Communist China, try and get them to capitulate, get rid of all of their units. And that could allow us to advance up along this front as well. So just kind of clearing up the north if we sent the tanks over here. And then just have the Red Army cover all this. And then with the Blue Army, if we can just connect these two fronts here, then I would take some of the Marines and create a new front by doing an invasion of one of these two locations here. And in fact, what we'll probably go ahead and do is take one of these Marine units now and have them start planning that. So just attack from right here, get the planning started. And, you know, that means that we don't have to try and advance all along here through the mountains. We'll just try and get all of their coastline taken over. So we'll do that naval invasion. But first, let me go ahead and change up the Green Army. I know that they're covering some of the provinces here for us. Let's just get rid of their current order. And I just think we need to work on getting these guys finished up. So we really got to focus our fire, you know, focus our tank units on getting that done. Well, the Red Army will have to be stretched even further down here. I know they don't really have enough units to do all this. What we could do is pull back right here, just have them cover these locations for us. And you know, we got the Blue Army that can cover all this. I really ought to change their color up since we have two Blue Armies. So we're just gonna change them over to yellow, so it's different from the red and the blue. I forgot we do need to start decrypting somebody else. So let's go ahead and do, I guess we could do Communist China. Could also do them down here since we'll be fighting them soon. How long would that take us to get it done? 200 days. Yeah, we might not get that done in time before we do the invasion. So let's do these guys instead, and then just cancel the Chinese Soviet Republic. I mean, perhaps we're not there in 200 days, but I'm hoping that we will be. We also need to reassign her, so we can send her over there. And just working on the intel right now, not doing any missions or anything. But we're going to try and get the win right here if we can in order to connect these fronts. All right, so we're starting to make progress across the front now. Should be able to get this guy here cut off. Looks like we're going to be able to advance right here as well. Oh yeah, pretty much everywhere we're seeing success now. I was trying to get a bunch of units cut off here, but unfortunately many of them are able to retreat. Looks like some of them are going back there though. Let's stop this attack here, and maybe if we finish up this defense, we can help them out, get the victory here, and cut off those two. Excellent. So let's go and attack here, and looks like we'll need to put the attack right there. Then have these guys support that attack. So that's 3 divisions that are cut off. And we do have the political power available to get a new advisor. There's also a few things we might be able to do here. So we can form a Labor Patriot Corps. I think we will get this. This is going to increase construction speed. We do have enough air experience to get a sub-doctrine, and we're going to start with the fighter aircraft. And I think we're going to do the airspace dominance. Really focus on the fighters. We could get the naval aviation, but I think maybe we'll get that for the strike aircraft. I mean, they have a bonus kind of similar. For this one, let's just get the airspace dominance. A lot of fantastic bonuses there. Really focus on those fighters, make them as good as we possibly can. All right, so we're going to attempt to launch an attack here with everything we got. Maybe send one tank over here. And we'll see where we need to send the rest of these. This guy's going to have to go over there. Yeah, I might need to focus these a little bit more, else we won't be able to get the wins here. Yeah, like you can't, not going to win there. But maybe with their support, let me send the bicycle units in there as well. Try and win all across this front in order to push it forward. We did get the small caliber semi-armor piercing shell. I got these in preparation for the 1939 techs, which will be unlocking soon. But I think we might be good when it comes to naval techs at this point. We got just about everything. I suppose we get the smoke generators, but what really matters at this point is just getting the equipment rather than the passive modifiers. And fuel continues to be an issue for us, so let's get the fuel refining too. You know, we're trading for all that oil, so it would help if we were using it more efficiently. So we did complete our short-term goal. We researched enough techs, and therefore we're going to get one faction initiative and we unlock the faction research. We also have to select a new goal, and I suppose we'll do the control the coast since it'll get us 50 experience, also another faction initiative. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do that for a short-term goal. Shouldn't be too difficult to achieve that. And yeah, now we have access to the faction research. So this allows us to add our facilities here. It does cost initiative for us to do this. And then our faction members can assign scientists to support us in any research that we're currently doing. We just captured a Chinese operative, and we also finished up that focus. Excellent. So let's go ahead and get the next research slot. This will also increase our research speed by 3%. However, you could make the argument to wait to do this until after we do one more of these in order to get the faction influential. Because if we did, we'd get one free nuclear research facility. Let's do this one here. It's 2 civilian factories, a research bonus for production, and the factory output bonus, which we really need to get any kind of factory output bonus as we can. We are very short on infantry equipment. Let me just show you the equipment situation. A 7.6 thousand infantry equipment shortage. It's pretty bad, guys. Nothing's really good, but yeah, the infantry equipment is certainly a problem. Let's go and push forward here. We just got another mastery reward for our infantry sub-doctrine. So it's going to increase the defense for our infantry. And then for the motorized, they'll get the increased breakthrough and reliability. So yeah, that's helpful. So we're seeing good progress with that particular sub-doctrine. Let's go and attack these guys just to stop from going over to here, because I'm trying to take this over so we can cut these 2 units off and then get them destroyed. So go ahead and do those attacks there, and eventually we're going to be sending all these Marines over to here to do this invasion. Just trying to get this offensive finished up first. The problem here is the river. That does cause some difficulty. It's great for defense though, but what we might do is let this guy leave here and then go after the capital tour for communist China. That could be pretty useful. We need to decrease the size of the front here, so let's do this attack. See if we can't get a win in this location. And we just got another mastery reward, so this is going to increase our reinforce rate, reconnaissance, and soft attack for the support artillery. Let me see if I can't get a win here. Probably not. Maybe. Yeah, we'll see if we can't get a victory there. And you know what? We should probably extend Red Army to cover that location as well. Alright, so with the victory here, let's try and do the same thing and attack over to this location. That way you have the river for defense. So we'll send these guys and maybe these bicycle units as well. And I decided not to go over this way, and instead we're just going to have to attack across the river here. So we're locking down these units here. I'll have to give them some support just so they can't move over to this location. What we should probably do is have this guy attack across here to lock down those units, and then let's just continue attacking with everything that we have here to get across the river. We're also attacking this location, just trying to take over their provinces so that they'll eventually capitulate here. And once we can finish in the north, we're going to take all the Marine units out and put them on this invasion, and then probably most of the infantry that are in here, or at least 4 of them, since that would put us at the max 24 divisions, will go into this Red Army, and then they'll be required to cover all this. But we'll be able to bring them down some. So we've gotten across the river. We just need to attack up this way. It's gonna be kind of difficult because it's the mountains here. We gotta also finish up with the defense. Let's go ahead and send these guys over there. This guy can stay here. We'll just extend the Yellow Army front just a little bit so they'll cover that location for us. So getting victories all across the front. This one here will be helpful because that'll cut off those 3 divisions and then we can get them wiped out. So let's go ahead and do that now. We'll just support with these guys here and with this army. So that's 3 more divisions that will get destroyed. We also wiped out the troops that were over here. If we can take this province and this province, then that would cut off these divisions, so we'll work towards that as well. I feel like we killed a lot of Chinese troops today. However, I will say that it seems like China's a little bit more difficult than they usually are. Just as far as the time goes, I feel like we haven't made as much progress against China as we normally would by this point. So it does feel like the war in China is maybe a little bit more difficult, or maybe I'm just rusty because it has been a while since I played HOI4. But yeah, we're making progress here, and now we're going to take a look at the casualties before we end today's episode. So we have unfortunately lost 99,000 men, quite a bit. However, the Chinese have lost 1.01 million. So for every one Japanese man they killed, we have killed 10 of theirs. So really not too bad kill death ratio there. But you do have to consider the fact that the Chinese divisions are not well designed, probably also lacking equipment. And so that's one reason why we're doing so well. So China is 52% towards capitulation. The Shaanxi are 93%, so we're almost there. Just take a few more locations. But yeah, overall, it hasn't gone too bad. So we'll see what we can do in the next episode, particularly with this invasion here. Not really entirely necessary. I almost feel like we should change it. You know, since our front is already so close to this port, as we've had a little bit of success advancing, let's instead attack this location here, because that's the last of the capitals that we need in order to complete our medium-term goal, which would get us army, air, and naval experience, as well as an additional faction initiative. But yeah, I do hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. We hope to see you on the next one, and thanks for watching.